A lot of people ask me, what controller do you use? I'm happy to address that question. So for me, there are like three types of controllers. One is like the big Tyrannus, like the big controllers, good for pictures, like you can put it around your neck, not really good for travels. Then you have like this Tango 2 by TBS, especially designed for travel, really good, already with Crossfire inbuilt. Or you can have, and it's not there, I sold it, it's like the DJI controller, and basically there the big advantage is you literally press one button on the controller and one button on the air unit, and you're already like binded these two. So why did I sold my DJI controller? First, it's almost as big as this one, not from the length, but it's pretty high, and it's not good if you go for travel to have that big thing in your backpack. And because if you look at the air unit, you have the signal from the controller and the signal from the goggles going into one unit, and I want to have that at least separate. So this already puts the DJI controller from me to the side. Now, if you have like already a Tyrannus, you're an analog pilot, I highly recommend you to just basically upgrade your controller, and most of you have already like the Crossfire module. I would almost say 99%. So if you have that, I would not sell that one just for the Tango. First do the experiment with that, and yeah, if you do a lot of travels, I basically also sold my old Tyrannus to have like this one of like small options. What's the advantages and disadvantages? So first of all, the form factor is an absolute advantage. It almost feels like a controller of a PlayStation. So really, really nice. It's so small, and it has already Crossfire built in. That means you don't have to buy the controller and an extra Crossfire modules, and then you also have like 3 types of modules depending on the power and the price. So this has Crossfire already built in, and that's one of the bigger advantages. I would say the downside is you only have up to 250 milliwatt output power. I've heard there are like some new upgrades from the TBS side. Probably in the near future already, if they already have launched it, you're going to have up to 500 milliwatts output power. Whereas when you have one of these Crossfire modules, not this one because this is also 250 milliwatts, you can have easily the one for 500 milliwatts or 1 watt or up, and you have way more range. To be honest, I've seen videos where you flew with 250 milliwatts a couple of kilometers without any issues, and I can tell you I flew 6 kilometers out with this one, with the stock antenna, and I had 0 issues. And why is that? So if you look at the digital signal, like the goggles, you're going to have 5.8 megahertz wavelengths, and if you look at the Crossfire, you're going to have 868 megahertz wavelengths. And what does that tell us? So 5.8 gigahertz, it's a much higher frequency. That means a higher frequency means you can transmit more data, but because the wave is also shorter, it's bad for penetration. That's when you, with the DJI system, fly out far, you go behind an object, it's gone. If you have like 868 megahertz or 900 something, or at least 2.4 gigahertz, these are much wider waves and longer waves, and you can go much further, and they also have better penetration. Also, don't get me wrong, if you fly up a couple of kilometers, you go behind the hill. Also with the Crossfire, it's gone. But usually the controller doesn't fail fail safe as fast as with the goggles. So first you're gonna use a loose image on the goggles, and then you're gonna lose the signal on your controller. What I did with my Tango 2, usually this stock antenna, for me it was a little bit too shaky, and I wanted to get like the max range. Since it has only 250 megawatt output power, I wanted to like upgrade it. And then also by TrueRC, I bought this before I got sponsored, just to have that said. I really like this option. You you have to open your controller. You have, again, I explained it before, a Pico tail, so like a small cable, which you can buy like to upgrade your Tango 2 controller, and you can put that on, and this is just like a good antenna. It's the same with this DJI stock antenna. They work fine. I flew with this one kilometers far with the stock antenna, but with this one I just feel like more comfortable. And also give you an example, because you can bend it. Imagine I want to fly up on the hill. I don't want to hold my controller like that all the time. So I literally just going to bend up the controller or like the antenna, and then I can hold my controller nice like this and have the antenna taking care of the angle. And also the antenna is like away from the electronics, which is usually like a big advantage, because you have like, it less interferes with the electronics. So that's basically the upgrade I did, and I haven't had any issues with the range so far. What you can also do, and I mean, I like it, usually you can buy like these things for the antenna. I also have it here. Like you can have like different designs, because I have like bigger hands and a bigger thumb. So I wanted to get like a little bit more height on the controller. So I bought like these add-ons, these sticks, and they give me, at least for my hands, a little bit more grip. So if you want to buy also a Tango, you can have two options. You have like the Tango Normal and you have the Tango Pro. I read and I heard that the normal one is better than, or like at least has some convincing advantages compared to the Pro version. So with the Pro version, you can basically just flip these in. But everything, if you think about mechanics, what flips can break and it can be loose. So if the sticks there, I mean, they basically decide how you fly and gives you also confidence. I wanted to go with this option. Even in a camera bag, it's not so comfortable and so practical, but at least the sticks, they're like stiff and they're not going to move anywhere. Whereas with the Pro version, if you cannot like clip it out, or if there breaks something, it's really bad. So I just bought the cheaper, not Pro model, and I was absolutely happy with that so far. Maybe I heard they also fixed it with the Pro version, but yeah, I went with the cheaper option and it worked for me.